Welcome to Rangers Radio on the Matchday show, the world's one and only unique live phone-in show for Rangers supporters all over the world. Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome back to Rangers Radio. Rangers 2, Celtic 2. In a game of two halves at Ibrox Park, joined myself, Foxchair, back in the show, as well, Robert. Barcelona first half, dog and duck second half, mate, yeah?
Yeah, mate. Aye, definitely a game of two halves, very similar in contrast to what it was at Parkhead earlier in the season, mate. Thought the first half we controlled and dominated, and in the second half we just stopped doing what we're doing and we let them into it.
Aye, they brought a Hatate on, the guy who missed the penalty then scored, but he made a difference to them. But we'll start for the game. I mean, what a start. The shame will be that that goal wasn't the part of a winning goal. His two goals, big Chernity, mate. That first goal was just unbelievable, mate.
Oh, it's spectacular, mate. We spoke about it last week on the shows about great goals in this fixture. That's right up there with the best that I've seen in recent times. And you're right, it deserved to be in a winning side because the technique is brilliant. His movement into the space ox, we touched on it in pre-show, about his being in the right positions. He drifts into that space and the finish is just spectacular. I don't think anybody was expecting that from the big man.
No chance, mate, no chance. So we get the goal, we're playing well, and then we get a second goal, big Chernity again. The young centre-half makes a mistake, and then a brilliance again, mate. He sort of sees the defender running, sticks his foot out, thinks it with his head, lets it fall and just passes it into the net. Brilliant goal, mate.
Again, he reads the play well. He reacts obviously after their defender misses the ball firstly, but the touch to get it away from Arojo is sublime. Just to nick it to the other side of him in front of the goalkeeper, and then the touch to put it aside him, mate. It's two brilliant goals, different contrasts, of course, but two great finishes.
Here. So we're looking for a third, mate, and we didn't get it. And then the half-time whistle goes. The game changed at half-time, mate, yeah?
Aye, it did. Their substitutes in particular, Hatate, I think, made a real difference in the middle of the park for them. But again, Ox, we didn't do ourselves any favours. We didn't attack and we didn't press as much as we did in the first half. We couldn't retain the ball. And when they were putting us under pressure, we allowed them to take them up the park. There was no kind of real press as we've seen in the first half. It was literally a flip of the coin at half time.
Aye, listen, mate, I just thought we weren't passing the ball. Everything in the first half came down the left. We didn't get the ball out there as often, mate. Even though Scott Olsen delivered the moment of magic with his cross, mate. But we were more prominent down the left, where I think Moore and Romans were causing all sorts of problems. We didn't get the ball to them as often. We made the wrong decisions a couple of times. We're still doing okay, but the big moment came, I think, when they got the first goal, obviously. And for me, it was a bad goal. I've not seen it back, mate, but when they've got a player standing in the middle of their goal, when we're defending and everybody's there and there's no cover, mate, it's not right, mate, you know. And I think it came to a set piece we never cleared. Romans get pulled out to the right, and we get suckered in. I want to see it back again before I make my full comment on it, but he's in the middle of their goal, mate. What do you reckon? 4 yards for goal, mate, with a free header, maybe 6 yards for goal.
Aye, you're probably about right, mate. I think the closest player to him was Raskin, and he was kind of stuck whether to go to Tierney or watch the guy behind him. Again, I would need to see it back myself to see where the centre halves are at that moment, but we obviously disjointed in the back line at that moment in time, because for Tierney to be in that amount of space in the middle of the box is criminal if you really want to put a label on it, mate. But I don't think Raskin done great in defending it either, but he had two men to deal with, and he was the only one that I could see that was near near the post,
Aye.
near the boy. But from there, mate, as you say, that gave them the belief the wind was in their tails, and we
That
didn't
was a big
react to
that
it.
was a big moment, mate. That was a big moment. And we've got one card to play in midfield, and that was Diamondi in it, or maybe Asgard. Yeah, but I don't know if that's his type of game. So we brings Diamondi on, and we changed our shape slightly. We goes to the 4-2-3-1. It looked like to me, mate, but we stopped passing the ball. Everything was rushed, and we never got the ball. There were players that affected the first half. Just a minor criticism. Gassama, we brought him on. I wouldn't have personally. I would have brought Bajami on, mate. Yeah, just because he's more physical, and especially on that right side. But I don't know why. I just feel as if he always likes to play better on the left. Gassama. Just an observation, not a criticism. Yeah, because we've not got really. Unless he brought Tav on, mate, and just try to stiffen it up. Maybe in hindsight, he might have thought about doing that. Yeah.
Aye, you could name a few players, to be fair. I don't think the game was really set for Gassama to come on and make an impact, if I'm being honest. The way we weren't really holding the ball, we weren't in key areas. I don't think it was the moment to bring him on. But there was moments before that, mate, before the substitution. But again, it's disappointing, obviously, having a 2-goal lead and kind of surrendering it.
Aye. Aye, it sure is, mate. It sure is. So the big talking point, mate. Ball comes into the box. I think it hits Sterling's horn. I don't think there's anything deliberate in it. Play goes on. There's a save for Butland. There's a VAR penalty kick. Again, I've only seen it. I've seen it once quickly after it, mate, and then I need to look at it closely before I make a comment on it. What's your thoughts initially?
My initial thoughts, mate, are you've heard the phrase in a natural position. Is Sterling's arm in a natural position for going for a header? People would say yes, people would say no. What I'm more kind of wondering, Knox, is it wasn't a factual overturn by VAR. It was obviously a subjective one that they got the referee to go and look at. So what was subjective about it? Is it the positioning of the arm? Is that why they sent beating to the monitor? Because normally, as you've seen, if it's a clear and obvious error and it's a factual overturn, they make the decision in the VAR room and tell the referee it's a handball. So if it's subjective, then what's subjective about it? Is it that natural position of the arm? I thought it was quite harsh. I think his ball's close to his body as well, mate. We'll never really know until we hear the VAR audio what was subjective about it, as I said. But the penalty obviously is given, which are you really surprised given it's VAR and all the kind of decisions we've seen? Probably not. And Butland, I've got to say, is very, very unfortunate. But what I will say, mate, is the reaction from the players, I'm a bit disappointed with. Hatate and Maeda reacted quickest, and there's nobody near our penalty spot or anywhere near the ball after Butland makes his 2 saves.
Aye, well, my initial reaction was when I seen it, and I've only seen it once, that it did touch his horn, mate. And then I've got my head in my horns thinking, oh, here we go, yeah. So I need to look at it. I don't think he was trying to, the old phrase, trying to seek to gain an advantage, mate. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's just one thing that disappointed me, mate. We had a free kick at the death, mate. We never set ourselves up. We take a quick one, the composure with the threat we've got, which never really came to fruition all day, apart from one corner kick, I think, or maybe a free kick, when Fernandes, he puts it just past the post. Arguably could have done better, mate.
Aye, you would expect him to, just given how his goal threat has been this season. But you did feel towards the end of the game when we were getting these kind of chances and these free kicks, particularly when we were getting fouls given in our favour, we were kind of rushing it, we were forcing it rather than, as you say, taking our time to set it up properly and be a real attacking threat. It was almost a bit hopeful and towards the end there, mate.
Aye, we couple of our players ran out of legs, Mikey Moore. No surprisingly, mate, the effort he put in.
No, he was great, Ox. You could see he was right up for it, particularly that first half. The drive, the energy he's got, and he caused a lot of problems. Romans as well. Some of the balls inside, outside that he was doing, that just didn't happen in the second half, and that's obviously where we can see where we went wrong in the second half.
Well, for me, Raskin and Tucci died out the game, mate, never get close. And I've commented on it a lot. I think Tucci, after about an hour, all right, the Queen's Park game, but let's be honest, you can't judge anybody in that. I think he looks as if he's got to get his fitness level up, mate. I thought Skolvolsen worked harder today, and obviously he put the cross in again, mate.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I'm not saying he was outstanding. I just thought he worked a bit harder, and obviously the time he was on the park, we dominated most of the game.
We did, and he also was doing his defensive work as well, as much as there wasn't a lot of that in the first half, of course. He was getting back, he was pressing, they were going in their numbers. He was doing it on the right, Moore was doing it on the left, Romans as well, Sterling. There was just night and day between the two halves with individual players that were doing the pressing, doing the hard work, that didn't do it in the second half. And again, that whether that's down to Celtic making substitutions, changing their style, we didn't react to it, and that's obviously a big disappointment as well, mate.
Yes, right. We better get his phone lines open, yeah?
Yes, indeed, mate.
Let's hear from his.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Disappointing, mate. Disappointment. You're 2-0 up, mate. We're hoping that you'll see the game out. And all we had today is make sure we never lost the second half, mate. And we did.
We did. As I said, it is the old cliche tale of two halves. And I compared it to the Parkhead game previously when we were getting overrun, we were getting dominated in the first half, and we changed it and we won the game. Today, it was roles reversed. There was nothing coming in our favour in the second half. We weren't doing the work, the good work we done in the first half. But at half time, when you're 2-0 up, you're just expecting to keep the same momentum, the same play. And if you got the third goal, mate, you would have probably said that was game over.
Oh,
but
without a doubt.
We allowed them in.
Without a doubt, mate. Without a doubt. Am I being overcritical to get the couple of substitutions, Frank? Maybe Narderi with his energy would have been better than Chermiti. I don't know, but you don't know how long he's been told he's got to have. Chermiti's always likely to do something, yeah.
Aye, mate. You could sit in hindsight, you sit here and you look at the substitutions that were made. They were obviously dominating the ball, so I can understand why you wanted to get Diamondi in the pitch, try and make an extra man in the middle of the park, because we were being overrun, we were being dominated. As I said, Tochi and Raskin kind of fell out the game, and I think he was just looking for that more control. But even with the sub, it never came. So you can understand why the sub was made. But you've got Chamit, who's got 2 goals in the game. You wanted to keep him on, thinking you would maybe get the third chance that came along, but it unfortunately never did.
Anyway, we'll be joined with David. Afternoon, David.
All right, lads.
How we doing, mate? Everybody's a bit disappointed. No disappointed with the first half and the first goals, mate, but disappointed with the result, mate, yeah?
That's a saving. That's a saving the day. Now, in my opinion, I would have said Diamondi, Chutwani and Raskin in the middle of the park, the 3. But he played Scott Bolton, right? No, I wouldn't have played Scott Bolton. But to be fair, Scott Bolton, he's been brought in to, influence games, a big game player. He didn't have a bad game. See that first half? That game should have been done in that first half. I'm staggered that we've lost that there. I cannot understand how we have possibly threw that away. Now, 1,000,000% that Martin O'Neill's in that dressing room going like, do you know what, we're 2-0 down here and we've got hero to lose and get a go. And right away, Rangers just looked kind of spooked with them coming on to us. I was so disappointed. I thought, Rangers, come on, get the ball in the run and just deal with them the way they should. Mate, it could have been 4 or 5 or whatever in the first half. It's a right sick with that one. I don't know what to think of him. I love him, manager, but I don't know what to think of him after that game there. I felt he got it wrong. I don't think he should have. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. People go at Danny Rowe go at, sitting in the second half. I don't believe that for a minute. at half time he's saying, just contain them.
No, they got a foothold, David, when they started going in the midfield. Yeah, that's what changed the game.
You're 100% right, Ox. Ox, you're 100% right. There was gaps in midfield that were just miles off, and I'm watching guys like, this is this Cal McGregor. We murder. Let's not be kidding with this. It's a really, really bad result today, and so I thought Hearts were the favourites anyway. I make them favourites now. But, I'm just really, really disappointed. To be 2-0 up and cruising, and it could have been 4 half time, and to draw 2 each at a rain, it's a right kick in the teeth, this one.
Aye. I mean, everybody, there's game, they'll be obviously buzzing. They've dropped 2 points the same as us, but they'll be buzzing, mate.
Of course, yeah. That's why Rangers will get better players. I don't care that anybody says Celtic. You look at Celtic. Nobody Celtic's get better players than Rangers. Not a chance.
We're 2 players in midfield. Didn't they really perform in the second half?
Did you not so?
No, in the second half.
I thought I was impressed with asking. I thought asking.
I thought they were outstanding in the first half, but I thought in the second half we didn't. We were getting caught sometimes, we were getting caught chasing, and they were getting behind us, and maybe gave ourselves too much today. And then you're right in tapping our centre half. And again, I thought he strolled at the first half, but the second half, big shooter, we've seen which shooter can do, mate. He's lacking mobility sometimes. Let's just do it. And Fernandes, I'm going to have to see this goal back. He's the left of the centre half. It goes over, it comes for the right hand side. And for me,
just a look at it. I agree with you.
Aye. I don't know where he is, 6'5", mate. Should be dominating, but
I've got to say another thing. See the corners today as well. I didn't actually think we made enough of them.
No, we never made it. One header we had apart from that.
We get 2 players in that game today starting. By the way, I've got to say, Mikey Moore was absolutely outstanding for me.
I mean, some of his runs and his
you've got to fucking. Oh, sorry.
Just one small thing with Mikey when he does the good work, mate. And there was a couple of times in the first half, I think he just made the wrong decision, but that'll come with experience, mate. And it's also an easy game when you're watching. He should have just rolled it to Romans, mate. And he beat them all ends up, mate, and had them chasing shadows.
I mean, Roman's brilliant. I'm looking at Roman's absolute. What a top player. I mean, Rangers could have been 5 up in the first half. That game should have been done.
Yep, we've been joined by Smurf. Yeah, afternoon Smurf, and then Billy's also with afternoon Smurf.
Afternoon Ox, afternoon gents. Just phone up bitterly disappointed. First half was just shooty in, wasn't it? It could have been 4. It could have been anything we wanted, and to sort of snatch a draw for the jaws of victory like that was just so disappointing. And I'm a wee bit critical of Danny Rowe with substitutions. I felt that Gassama should have went to the left. They should have taken Mikey Moore off. I think he should have brought on I'll forget his name, the striker that used to play with Aberdeen. I think they should have swapped him for Chimney. As soon as they go a grip in that midfield, and it was a ball at the top, that's something for that boy to run onto. That was always his game, and I just don't think his substitutions were great.
Aye, listen,
and Bayrami on the right. Bayrami on the right's an obvious one.
It's a bit like the Marvel game. If you see it out, the ball doesn't go and we don't give away the penalty, the game tickles out. Everything's honky-dory, but we're critical because, and myself included, by the way, Smurf, because we don't see the game out. Anyway, we've also been joined by Billy. Afternoon, William.
All right, Ox, how you doing? All right, troops. Listen, I'm just before I put my point across, Ox. Just before I put my point across, Ox. Can I ask you something, Ox? See if you're in that position, right? What is your message to the players going out for the second half.
Kill the
Same.
game off.
Same. Keep working.
A million % correct. Now, we are in total control of that game of football. We're 2 goals up. We're cruising. Right? If I'm the manager of the Glasgow Rangers, I'm going in there at half time and say, right, lads, everyone is take a bow. Brilliant. Right? But we've got another 45 minutes to go here. Right? I want more of the same half you. Right? Good. Let's go out and kill this game. Right? Kill the game. So, the manager has either told them that, and the players have went out and done something completely different, or the manager's changed his tactics and the players have went with the manager's tactics. Now, you look back to the Motherwell game, right, when we're clinging on with 5 minutes to go, we get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And the exact same thing happened in the second half. We're getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and inviting Celtic onto us. Now, that can only be a mentality thing or a managerial tactical thing, right? It's either one or the other. Now, honestly,
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Well,
You've
it's
got
got to be. It's got to be
to-
either the players.
Cheers, Billy. Cheers, there's other people. Robert, in you come. Answer Smurf and Billy.
Aye, listen, of course we're disappointed because obviously how good we played in the first half and we're 2-goal lead at half time. You're expecting to be the same dominating in the second half. And that's the disappointment. They came out with nothing to lose. That would have been their message at half time. I can probably guarantee it. They're 2-0 down, there's nothing to lose, go and play. And they did. And I don't think Daniel for a minute would have sat and said, as you're saying, contain or whatever. He would have probably said, go and do the exact same. But Celtic changed their style, their formation, their personnel, and we didn't react to it. As soon as they get that foothold of the game, Ox, as you've touched on, it was hard for us to get back on control of it because as soon as they got that control, they get the goal. And as I said before, it puts the wind in their sails. The tension, you could sense it around the stadium, the players, the nerves were kicking right in. I don't put any of that on a single factor of a Danny Rule message at half time. Not for me.
No, they just got a foot holding the game and they pinned us in. They got a couple of set pieces, maybe corners, and we wouldn't clear it, mate. We just didn't clear it, and it meant it was about 5 minutes. And if you were at the game, you'd be saying when they scored the goal, that was coming. You could feel it coming, and that was a big moment in the game. I don't think it was any tactical that the manager done. It was just players.
I agree,
No pass the
chance.
ball, probably. David, then Smurf, then back to Billy.
Well, the manager there, he's going to get. You know what's going to happen in the media, didn't you? You know what's they're going to be saying. Oh, bottle merchant. You know he didn't go for the game. He went for the game today. His tactic, his start lineup. For me, I wouldn't have argued about any apart from Scott Bolson. I would have started more in the middle, and I'd have put Diamond, the big boy Chutwani and Braskin, and 2 up top. But I can't argue it. At half time, I'm going like, I says, this is shooting in here. And it's down to I genuinely think, I know people go like the manager. It's easy to say that. I think it's a mentality with the players. I know. You can't allow guys. I'm looking, look at that Celtic team. Come on, look at them. This is what an opportunity. They're never near the levels that the Celtic. Well, Cal McGregor, he's walking a bit apart, but he was actually starting to dominate possession. It really. And people go, oh, but Danny Rowe's problem because we're sitting in. I don't think Danny Rowe's been like, see you second off, we'll just sit in here and invite pressure in. No chance. That's 20 players.
Aye. Back to Smurf. I think, I don't know if Billy's still with us. Smurf?
Aye, so, no, I don't agree with anything Billy said there. Ultimately, the message would have been the same. It was the same personnel, same shape, same everything for Rangers. And the reason we never got a foothold in the game is because Martin O'Neill changed it. He brought Hatate on and changed the dynamic of the game. And ultimately they got a foothold in midfield. We controlled that midfield in the first half. And we pressed them and contained them inside their own half. And it was a game of shooting in.
Do you understand that, mate? You can't say that.
In the second half, he changed his personnel in the midfield. They controlled the midfield, and that's how they get back into the game. It was as simple as that. We didn't react to that early enough, in my opinion. And when they did make the substitutions, I didn't like his substitutions. Obviously, it was he brought on Kusama, but there's no way he should have been put Kusama on the left, on the right. He should have been on the left, and I would have taken Moore off. Moore, he's only an 18-year-old boy, and he ran out of legs. There's a few of them that were drained, and I just think he got substitutions, man.
Maybe a bit more experience. Come on, might have been Tav on the right, and then just Kusama on the left, or Barjami, and just go 4-5-1, or bring Kusama on through the middle just with the legs. But that's all hindsight, mate. It's all hindsight. But with John McCall, with John McCall, all right, Cal.
I'm all right. We just didn't control the game in the second half. We had it under control. And I don't know what happens to your team when we think we're cruising and we just seem to fold. I don't understand it. It can't be the manager. The main manager's going to tell you to sit back and try and pass it out and do this. With so many missed passes and no getting to boys first, where we were doing in the first half. I don't know, maybe a fitness issue with you guys coming in, but fucking game, we still didn't get beat. Come on, we did not get beat.
No,
and we'll take them apart next week.
It feels like a defeat because of the circumstances. Look, you're right. Some of it was stopped passing the ball, and then we did tweak our tactics. We never got it quite right. We could have done with more energy on the left, and I think that's where the crosses came for the equaliser. So it's all of buts and maybes, mate, and we're all really disappointed because it's a raw. The manager will always get criticised. Players will get criticised. He got a lot right for the first, up until they got that first goal, and after that, it becomes nervy. Cal?
Well, I thought it became very nervy. The Deary had to come up because he was tired. So was Big Chermitty. But who are you going to put on? What are you going to do? You put on Mayoski that runs about and does nothing. I don't know what the guy's got today. He's only got so many players who can play, and I think he played his best team, and it showed how good we can be.
I think I'll go to Robert with that. That's the problem. Maybe we're short another physical midfielder on the bench, mate.
Possibly, Ox. Possibly. I think if you look at the squad the way it is at the minute, you would still say you're light in midfield, particularly when if you're starting the game today, for example, with Diamonde, Raskin, and Chukwani, there's nobody on that bench that comes on and does the same job, that's got the same physical stature. There's no like for like substitution. So that's probably an area that we do need to kind of look at and say, well, that's now the area of focus at the point in time. But again, Carl's right. It feels like a defeat because we're 2-0 up and we get sucker punched. They'll take it as a victory because a point, let's be fair, a point suits them better than it suits us because they've got that game in hand. All right, they've got to go and win it. They've got to go and win it still, but they win it, they go a point ahead of us, and that's all they care about at this point in time. They're not looking at Hearts, they're looking at us. We are looking at Hearts. So for them to be behind us still, then they're looking at us first before they even consider Hearts. But listen, it's a draw. We've not lost today, and we've certainly not lost the league. There's people out there thinking it's all done and over. Not for me. People's got their opinion, of course, but there's still games and points to be won here.
It's become harder, mate. It's become harder. Obviously, you'd rather won the game and been sitting 4 points behind and 6 points behind. Just the arithmetic became harder, and you've also got a game less. That's as simple as that. That's the reality of where we are. David, and then Smurf.
I agree with. It's a game we should have won. We were close enough. 20 minutes into the game, I was kind of start of the game. I said, God, that way everybody's gone. Don't go overly confident. But I was saying to myself, I said, wait a minute here. I said, I've watched Rangers at home for a while now. Rangers are playing some lovely football. They've got good players in there. The manager who will go has got it right there in January. So I fancied us strongly today. See, sent off. I thought they're lucky. It's no 5. But to do that, to drop the points, I do get it that people say we're still in the title, and I get that. But you have to win the games. You have to beat Celtic.
It's a big game, mate. It's a big game.
You have to beat the, and by the way, a lot of people going about, like, oh, this one wasn't good. That, I thought a load of Rangers players were superb in the first half. You couldn't argue with anybody, Romans and whatever. But then you get into second half and people go, are they? I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Ops? What did the manager say to them at half time? Because I don't
Very the same, mate. Very the same. Just keep playing. And then obviously the first few minutes, nothing really happened in the second half. You know,
within the first 2 minutes in the second half, we nearly scored another one.
Aye, Romans. There's an argument that Romans should have done better. Yeah,
100%. The game should have been done.
Aye, he should have done better. So it was the first few minutes, but then when up until they got that second goal, there was about 5 minutes. They had a couple of set pieces in that, and we weren't great. I mean, we were clearing it, and we were getting it straight back to them. And we talked about that in the pre-show. I'll bring Robert in again. The problem is when you've named it up the park, if you do clear it, it's coming straight back at you, mate.
Exactly, mate. It's an obvious thing to highlight and see. You just put one body up there, it just changes the whole complex of how they've got to approach it. They've got to leave people back. A few times the ball was cleared, whether it was by a header or a kick up the park, it was straight back up to us. And that's when you just need somebody up there just as a presence. Whether they can hold the ball on or draw a foul, it relieves pressure. But to have nobody, you just know it's going to come back. And that's when you're under pressure. And when you can't get out, mate, you know how hard it is. You see it. The pressure just keeps mounting. And you're right in what you're saying.
100%.
It was only a matter of time before that goal came. You could see it coming. You felt it coming.
Nah, that's what it looked like. Carl, you want to come back in, mate? Smurf, and then we'll sort Carl out. I think he's been on mute. Smurf?
Aye, I just felt that he tried to sort of get control in the midfield again, the manager, and he brought on another midfielder.
He brought Diamandi on.
Diamandi, I brought him on. And even then, when it went man for man in midfield, we still didn't really get a grip of that midfield. And I just felt that the boys in front of them, the legs had gone. And I think he should have made his substitutions earlier. And I also think when we were sort of getting pinned back, we're going long with it. I just felt that's Majowski's game. That was his game at Aberdeen, and he got a lot of joy. And I just feel that would have been a change that should have been made as well. A lot of people don't rate Majowski or whatever in the Rangers jersey, and I understand it, but I think he's a guy that needs grass in front of him. And
I would have been near Majowski.
No, I would have talked about my opinion. I would have certainly brought him on because that second half suited his game, in my opinion.
We made 2 substitutes, didn't we? Yeah. We brought on Gassama and we brought on Diamandi. And therein maybe lies the problem when you get like that. You have to make the substitutes and use the fresh legs. And I think Smurf's point about some people's short their race, the 2 forwards have short their race, Mikey Muir had short their race. And so then you have to replace them, but we didn't. But it's all hindsight, mate. It's all buts and maybes, and we're all gutted because of the circumstances. Robert, then back to David.
It is, mate. It is hindsight. I mean, if you go in and win the game, you don't talk about substitutions, but obviously you speak about them because the way the game's panned out. For me, I'd say that I've got no issue with bringing on Diamandi to try and get a foothold back in control of the game because we'd lost it. I've got no dispute about that. It makes sense to try and get an extra body in the middle of the park because they were dictating play left, right, and centre. So to put the extra guy in there, that was the aim. It didn't materialise. Gassama, I've already said, I didn't think it was the game for him. There was no kind of open space. We weren't retaining possession. Had it been similar to the way it was at Hearts when he came on, absolutely. But I just don't feel it was the game for him to come on. Whether that was for Bayrami as another option, possibly. But at the end of the day, we weren't having the ball long enough and doing stuff with the ball in that second half when we did make the subs. So it is all hindsight, and you question these decisions when it isn't a result. But we won the first half, they won the second half. They changed their approach. We didn't react to it, and that's where we lost it in the half, mate. That's where we lost it. And of course, it is a draw, but it does feel like a defeat because, as you say, the games are running out. But when it comes to substitutions, they're always going to be looked at depending on how the game ends up. They work for you if you win. They won't work for you if you drop points. That's how the cookie crumbles.
Well,
When you go, David.
Gassama wouldn't be my substitute, but if he does what he does against Hearts, it's easy, but it didn't happen, and we lost the goal. And obviously, you can't really blame the forward players for the loss of the goal. Apart from just before they went down the left, we gave the ball away cheaply in the left-hand side and then let them get down the park, yeah? Yeah, I can't remember who was involved. I need to say it back. But look, we can all pick the bones of it. And the biggest disappointment for me is we're not talking about Chermiti's goals. That's the biggest disappointment for me, David. I think Cal still ways. I'll go to Cal next. David and Cal.
I mean, honestly, see if they'd have won that game, they are, you can't. They are the best. I've never seen 2 goals like that in my life. I tell you what, see over the kick, that might not even be the best one. See the second one he does. He just puts it over the top of the fucking defender and they just...
David, what's your language, mate?
Oh, sorry, I apologise. But you do understand what I'm saying. He's touching everyone, Guile. Now, I know people go at like can be a lazy enemy, but this is what we've been missing for years. A big player that steps up in big occasions. Now, I thought Moore was superb. I've got to say, I agree with maybe the boy that was saying there about the performance with the Rangers at times. Would you come? Sorry, Robert.
Aye.
Robert, I apologise, mate, but Robert's absolutely spot on. Rangers, you're sitting at half time, you're going that you're absolutely, completely and utterly cruising. With people, you can pick the bones out of all the kind of situations they sent off. Sterling, for instance, there you get Sterling. Folks like, you don't want Sterling now because of what's happened. He's done after that all for him game, whatever. But Sterling was outstanding, Eddie, on the right hand side. You've got a boy, Scott Walsh, what do you call him, Romans, who is outstanding as well. Rangers should have won that game out the park. And how we've dropped points is incredible. But that's what happens. You have to put the ball in the back of the net. As I say, you see boy Nadiri, I actually thought he did a good game today. I really did.
He did, but obviously in the second half, a lot of our players, he fell out a wee bit, and then he was...
Who was your man of the match for Rangers? Ox?
Well, for me, there's only... With they 2 goals, mate, you can't see by Chermiti. They were just... That first goal was just unbelievable, mate. The second goal's a brilliant goal, but the
second one, that
first
might even be better.
You know, the first goal, mate, how hard that is to do that, mate.
Oh, no. By the way, Scott Wilson, brilliant. Right for that again.
It's so hard to get. I think Cal, and you come, Cal. Oh, I think you must be still on route. Smurf.
Aye, Chermiti was he's certainly a big game player, isn't he? And he delivered today. And I mean, he must be feeling it. Imagine scoring 2 goals like that, no winning. Second in it. I just actually felt in the first half there's no way they were coming out the second half without making changes. And I didn't think, I thought we would have been more competitive in the second half than we were, but I certainly didn't think we would have had the possession we had in the first half. And I did think we needed a third goal just to kill it, just to be comfortable. And so it proved to be, but...
I think they'd actually made possession at half time. I didn't see it back. I think I'd start came up, but obviously it was the territory, mate. It was the territory, wasn't it?
Aye, of course. Aye, it was. We were going long, mate, weren't we? In the second half, really, just to relieve pressure on that. I think some of the players just gassed. I think young Mikey Moore gassed. Nadiri, he gassed, and I think Chermiti, he was spent as well. And even at one point, I was thinking it would have been good to bring on somebody just to sit on McGregor, because he started dictating stuff. I thought if we could nullify him, and we Diamondi didn't seem to do that. So. Like you saw, spots and maybes. If there's no penalty kick, we're sitting here going, all we're talking about is the 2 goals in it.
Aye, it's as simple as that. But I mean, the manager will
we're up against it.
The manager will get a bit of criticism, Robert. And I'm just saying what I would have done. I wouldn't have been the way the game was going. I didn't think it was a game for Gassimer particularly in there, and whether Moore had run his race. You wanted somebody that's a wee bit more switched on. But I think that's Danny Rule. I think he's reasonably a positive guy. He likes to go with energy and try in the forward areas, but it didn't work out. And we were only, 2 minutes away from it working out, because the game petered out after that. And obviously, they might have thrown the kitchen sink before. After that, if they hadn't got the penalty, you'll never be able to answer that. But the game could have just petered out. I mean, they've been happy, But didn't
There's only 9 games to go and all, it's...
Aye. Right, well, so what we'll do is we'll hear from the manager and see what he's got to say, if you don't mind. So get your phones on mute and let's hear from the gaffer.
Danny, a draw in the end this afternoon. How do you reflect on that game today?
Yeah, finally it's disappointed for us. I think we lead 2-0. Fully deserved. We played outstanding 50 minutes. Even the first 5-6 minutes in the second half, we were the better team. We were in front. Rudy had the chance for the third goal. Yeah, and then it's football. Then we are not clinical in the possession. They get a little bit of momentum. Then they score in the right moment. And then I think the momentum turned more to them side. We tried. In the second half to control more the game, we couldn't. Yeah, and finally you played in 2-2. I think it's very tough when you conceded so late a goal, and then especially with a pen. We can take the good things from the first half, but of course we have to speak about the second half, because we are not clinical enough in both directions, and yeah, we have to work on this, and this is what we will do in the following days.
Does that almost add to the disappointment and frustration after the game, just how good that first half and first period of the game was?
Yeah, it was outstanding, but the 2-0 is always dangerous, because the opponent has nothing to lose by 2-0. They can go all in, they can create something, they have a little bit more trust. You need always a third one. I think this is crucial. We couldn't. I think we fight then until the end, and then very late in the game they got a pen. We can speak about this or not, but generally, yeah, we feel disappointed today, and this is, of course, especially when you play 50 minutes like this football. But at the end, we can get nothing from this. It's about 90 minutes, 95 minutes, and we couldn't today.
What can you take away from the second half, and what can your players learn from that today?
Yeah, we have to look back to this game, and we will back. We will speak about this, our situations in possession, also our pressing, how we have to act in our net, where we compact or not compact. I think the last 2 open also had some transition moments. But this is football. This is football. We will work on it. We will improve, and then we go again next week. And this is also important.
It is, like you say, the same fixture next week again at another Old Firm Scottish Cup this time. How do you refocus your players now in the next few days to get ready for that again?
Yeah, at first you speak about this, you recover, and then you set up the team again, and then you try to make it better, to win the game, because we want to come in the next round.
Smurf, would you think his comments, Sim, is that a fair assessment from the manager?
Aye, I mean, the guy, you can see he's disappointed. He's not convinced it's a penalty. You know, they've created enough chances the first half to win 3 games. And ultimately he's going to be bitterly disappointed. I think it shows that although the squad's improved, it's got a wee bit to go. You know, boys were saying earlier about, you know, maybe needing somebody a bit, maybe a defensive midfielder, another one that come off a bench. If we had another right back, other than Tav, you know, somebody sort of that can come on, get pace, etc. Defensively sound. You can even push Sterling into midfield there. Do you know what I mean? We still lack
if you
some
were
options.
watching that game, Smurf, would you have changed the back 4?
No, I wouldn't have. But what I'm saying is,
you know, you
you're short
wouldn't have took Sterling off. The one that was the bomb scare of our defenders in the second half was John Sutter.
No, I wasn't meaning to take him off.
Aye.
What I was meaning was you know, in midfield, I just felt we lacked a wee bit of sort of steeliness in midfield, and Sterling you could move him in there if you needed to. You know, if you're lacking midfielders, he's versatile. That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, we're short. You know, the squad's still short, so you've got to be alerting. And Suter was a bit of a bomb scare. I've got to admit that he was.
Only for had these moments, but I think the point the manager was making, and what he David then back to Robert was, and then Bob just joined us, but goals change games, and it was that moment when we lost that first goal that changed the whole game, mate.
100%.
You're up against it.
Yeah, David.
Hello?
David, on you go, mate.
I thought I've got to say I thought Sterling was out. I thought Sterling was majorly comfortable today. I don't see any issue with Sterling. Just think it was I don't know. They're the manager there. You can't argue with what Daniel's done here. It's about mentality and that second off. Rangers to begin up there and killing that, going for the juggler and just completely killing that game off. Rangers were miles the better side in the first half. The minute that fucking old time, whatever, gets in there, you know exactly what he's saying. You know, they're right up against this now. This is Rangers have got a better side than you. You can't argue with. I thought Rangers in the midfield just totally and utterly dominated. The game should have been killed.
Up until that moment, mate. Up until that moment.
And by that, I thought Shooter was all right. I know Shooter gets a hard time, but I thought Shooter was all right.
Listen, he didn't. I don't think he was ultimately responsible for any of the goals, mate. But I don't think he's. He didn't stroll the second half the way they strolled the first, because he did play well.
I agree with that. Box there, the game against Livingston, the people saying, "Oh, should have played like Giga." I mean, if Rangers fans seen Giga, you know how all the place he is. Well,
I mean, memorable. Giga was our man of the match. Anyway, before I go back to Robert, we've been joined by Bob J. Afternoon, Bob J.
Good afternoon. I'll say good afternoon in that context. How you doing, boys? All right. Need I say, I'll use an old term for you. I'm absolutely scunnered that we couldn't put them away today. They were absolutely there for the taking. And then they did let that Jap come on at half time and let him dominate the midfield. And I'm screaming, close them down all the time. Let them pass the ball, let them guys. I don't know what it is. The Rangers only play one half. I'm still scratching my head about this. We had them dead, had them buried, could have humiliated them today. Could have humiliated them. But that, hey-ho, we didn't. We let them back into it again. So, that's basically my take on it, Ox.
I disagree with me. And arguably the big two moments is when we gave away the first goal and Romans's chance and Robert.
It is, mate. We always say football's about moments. Romans, we never took that moment into our favour. And then, as you've already touched on already, they take their moment getting the goal to get back into it. And that's the momentum swing right there. They get the lift, we don't. And this fixture, it's always a hard one to kind of gain control for a full game. We've done it for the first half. We should have done it for the second. But you've got to say they changed. That's ultimately what they did. They changed at half time. We never. We didn't need to change at half time, but as soon as the goal goes in, we were trying to change it up. But it's hard to get back into the game and under control the way we had it in the first half when they've got the ascendancy, they've got the momentum, they've got the goal, they're controlling the ball, they're dictating the tempo of the game. And that's where it swung, really, mate, if we're being honest. And I know we've sat here and we're speaking about, in hindsight, personnel, substitutions, whatever. Would anybody in here at this moment in time, if we went with the same lineup that we went with today next week, would we have any qualms about it?
No.
I don't think so.
No, I don't. I think that'll be our team, mate. Potentially if everybody's fit, mate, because obviously we cause problems. They might set up differently, but it's up to us to go and if we play better over the 90 minutes, because we were excellent in the first half, excellent, and two magnificent goals, and we were playing well. Only one criticism that we'd never make it with the territory we had. Arguably, we should be making more chances and more efforts in goal. That's just one criticism. Bob's here, and back to Smurf.
I would agree with that. We should have had that game dead, buried, over with half time. Obviously, you can never just go through the motions against them, as it was proved, but you always kind of there at some point they're going to come back at you. They do it every time. We do it every time. So, but I was really disappointed with the second half performance today. I thought we were shooting at the Copeland Road. I said, we're good for at least another goal here, and that'll do us. But no, I can't recollect a chance that we made in the second half.
Just the one, right at the start. Right at the start.
Right at the start of the second half, yeah, correct. I thought we were going to go on for there. But it shows you how football can come back and bite you on the proverbial. And I've got to hold my hands up here and say, yeah, that was a penalty kick. And I'm going to cheat and beat these useless critics, but it was a penalty kick. And tough luck for the big, and he saved it twice. It was a shame. But I bring bricks to them walking that.
I need to watch it again, Bob Jer, but I think it definitely he's on. Yeah, I don't think he meant it.
No, but at the end of the
yeah.
His hair was sticking out to his body, and that's the rules. I'll be honest about it. I didn't like being dishonest about it. I'm scunnered, though. Let's be honest with you. I'm totally frustrated here. You can probably tell.
You're 2-0 up, mate, in any game of football. You're approaching the hour mark and you end up drawing it. You're going to be scunnered, and I don't say that lightly. People who think they know me don't. Yeah, Smurf.
I just think that I think it would have been a game that I think Bayrami coming on would have made a difference. Even instead of Diamondi coming on and just sitting on McGregor, he's done that before, nullified him. But look. You can make all the excuses you want. They get a grip of that midfield in the second half. And these games are like that, they were all ours at Parkhead. We go and win the game. So in the second half, you've got to be prepared for that, and you've got to have a plan. Just didn't like. I didn't like the substitutions. I didn't seem to have a plan B in the second half.
But the problem we've got is the two big moments that we turned again for us, they were both happened in the middle of our goal. The penalty kick with the back, he's in, what is he, 2 yards for the back, and then the goal, I'm going to have to watch it back, but Tierney's right in the middle of our goal. And we have
Understand that.
We have to do
Understand
better.
that. Understand that, Ox, but I really believe that, you know, when you're playing up further up the pitch and you've got them hemmed in their own half, that you don't have that problem, do you? They had the grip in that midfield and they were overloading, and that's why they were in the positions.
You know, because they try to get the ball to the right. Well, they were getting overloads on Romans. They were. Don't know if you picked up on that, Robert.
Aye.
I didn't. I did. Yang in particular, before he went off, was making some runs in behind, and I would be honest, I was surprised that they took him off and put McCowan up there. But they nullified their threat with Romans by doing that. Again, that's something that they changed and they reacted to, because of the joy we got, particularly with Romans and Moore first half. They reacted to what we done from that first half, mate. That was the message at half time. Simply, they reacted to what we were doing, and they came out and. You can say they won the second half. Did we gift them the second half? Arguably so.
Aye. Well, listen, we didn't play well in the second. We didn't play well after about 50 minutes. It looked to me before the penalty incident that the game might just peter out. We might steal it, if that makes sense, Bob G.
Makes total sense. Makes total sense. But you come in like they are. They've done it for weeks now. Keep going and going and going. You've got to hand that to them. They keep going. They didn't gain, and we weren't prepared for it. It was more like we had gained it. They just could not get forward and be constructive of them in the middle of the park. A Sheeran flick with Chernity, that was like the training ground flick, training ground flick that granted them possession. I says, oh, come on, Rangers, none of that crap. Just get the heat down and play the game.
100%.
I didn't mind his flick in the first half for outside his boot, but.
See, how did we draw this game? I just can't understand how. Many you watch Rangers for. Do you know, I think that's one of the worst, the second half losses you'll see. I thought Rangers were miles in front of Celtic in the first half.
Oh, mate, I mean, look, if that was a boxing match and they'd been stopped at half time.
Exactly. How did we know finish that off? You know, I can't understand it.
But they would have the exact same argument. Yeah.
But look at the old firm games we played. They don't beat us in old firm games. They just don't. That's not our issue. Our issue is no beating sides in the league. But we're all right with Celtic.
Maybe the point we're going to learn is that we have to. There's 2 games. There's 4 points. Motherwell and Celtic. The last couple of minutes, mate. We can't play like that. Maybe that's a learning for the manager, Robert.
Aye, you're right.
Aye, mate. In hindsight, you look at it and you go, that's the opportunities that you've missed and you could have capitalised on. It will be another one that we've let slip away, but 6 points can be made up. We've come back from worse. If you look back at history as well, we've come back from worse positions. It is a disappointing one today. It is a sore one to take because of how good we performed and the lead we had, but it's not over until that final day of the season, mate.
Yeah. Last word for your good self, Bob G.
I agree with that. Oh, no, we're not out of the race yet. No chance. They're going to be either get up here to Aberdeen on Wednesday, which they will likely win. But there'll only be a point in front of you. Am I right? Will there just be a point in front of us?
Aye.
Aye. Well, that's not insurmountable. So just keep it going, Rangers. One of these days it's got to click. Should have clicked today. You could have had them 3 or 4 at half time. Anyway, we'll go into the new week and we'll analyse it, and then we'll go into the cup game. Thanks for having me on again, and all the best to you, lads.
Cheers, mate. Smurf.
Yeah.
Smurf. Oh, Smurf went. David.
Right, lads. Tough one today. Make you suck it up and then just go again. You never know you're wrong, Duck. There's 9 games to go here in this league. You never know. But as I say, the man today, we still won that. Still won it with the fucking tap. Oh, sorry. Slow again, sorry. But
yeah,
we still won it.
We know. That's your 5th time.
Sorry, Ox, you know, that didn't swear.
I get it, mate. We'll put it down to emotion, mate. We'll put it down to emotion, yeah?
Aye.
All right, cheers, mate. Cheers, mate.
The SFA.
Back to Robert, last words.
Cheers for having me on, mate. Always good to do a show with you. Of course, disappointed after the result, mate. But there's still games to be played, and I'm sure we'll analyse the day's result and performance over the coming week, as Bob just says, and then we'll look ahead to the cup tie. Nothing to fear. They didn't show anything to worry about for next week. If we play like we played in the first half for a longer period next week, then we'll get by them in the cup.
All right, thanks, Dave. And I think Bill, Cal, Bob, Chair, David, and Smurf for joining us. Thanks to your good self, Robert, for doing the show. Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back between 8 and 10 tomorrow night, talking about things.
All off, lads, all off.
Yep, well done. Nice one.
I'm losing my internet here. Can't upload the show.
Oh,
Don't know what happened, whether it went up or not. Here it's I can just start to fade out for me there.
yeah, the king there at the end, it cut out for a minute here.
It stopped fucking uploading, so and it's asking me for updates and fuck knows what. Try and upload that again. I don't know if it uploaded or not. Let's see after. It's asking me for a fucking MixLR update. I'm going to do it again. I think it has updated. It looks like it. Right.
Oh, hello.
And then thought everybody was a wee bit doer. See, when you look at that, Celtic supporters will be saying the same as us. We dominated that second half. They were terrible. And we should have won. That's what they'll be saying.
Aye.
And we rightfully played brilliant in the first half and deserved a 2-0 lead. But we couldn't hold on to it, mate. It comes into it, you know. They've got merit.
That's at the start of the show I compared it to, was it Parkhead? Because the way we are feeling today is the way they would have felt back then.
Aye.
Because they
I mean,
battered us that first half. They absolutely battered us. 3 or 4 up.
Aye. But what it did show me was the first half is how good we can play. That's how much we've improved since playing like that, you know, the first half. If we could have maintained it, but we couldn't.
Aye, exactly.
And every cunt's really down because there's two teams on the park. They changed their tactics and forced us back, and that's what happens, especially in the last 5 minutes when players are looking at the clock, mate, and you're up 2-1. You know what I mean? You're saying how many days hold it for 5 minutes, you know? And we're unlucky to get away, apparently, you know? I still don't think his horns were in an unnatural position, mate, you know?
Well, that's what I was saying. It's clearly subjective. It's not a factual overturn. They've said to Beaton, go and look at us, because for me, they're asking, is it natural or no? And he's deemed it to not be. Because if it's a blatant handball, then it's a factual overturn.
The referee played on, it was fucking Clancy that pulled it up, mate, wasn't it?
McLean and Clancy, aye. McLean was on VAR. Clancy was AVR. AVAR.
Oh, he's second in it. Oh, he'd have convinced the other cunt anyway, you know. I'm a wee bit disappointed, but it was a fucking great game to watch, wasn't it? It was full of excitement for the neutral, that game.
Aye.
One of the things was, I think Big Tucci died after about an hour, Fox, so he couldn't get close to anybody.
They had three in the middle. They had three in the middle against for two, mate. That's how Raskin and him fell out of it. They had the movement on their side. They were moving. Their midfield was moving all over the place, mate, and they two couldn't cover them.
Brought on Gassim, or would you have brought on Tav?
Nah, but I might have brought another centre off.
What's that, mate?
Why not bring on another centre off and try and shut, if you're going to try and shut the game down, you know?
I wouldn't have put Tab at right back. If I was going to.
In front of you.
Nah, put three.
On the right.
If you go 5-4-1, then didn't you? 3 centre backs and the 2 full backs, mate, and try and if you're trying to shut the game down, 4 in midfield, you know?
I think the only reason he never done that, Fox, is possibly the Motherwell game he went to that back 5 and look how it panned out. Whether that was on his mind, that he tried to see it out and it went against him.
I'm going to watch it again and look at it for Tim's side and see if they looked as good for them in the second half as we did in the first half, if you know what I mean, you know. I mean, what would you have said about their performance in the first half? Was it any worse than yours in the second half?
Probably not. Loose passes. Nobody near people.
Aye.
No.
Yes, when I watch a game, mate, I don't just watch your team, mate. I watch both teams, you know. And if you're looking at the Celtic defence and the whole team, you'd say that's the worst I've ever seen them playing. I bet you if you went onto their forums and knew that's what they'd be saying, you know. And if you reverse the halves and be 2-0 down and came back and played like that in the second half, every cunt would be bouncing. But, that's what happened. Maybe it's because I'm getting old. It's no life and death to me anymore, mate, you know. Upset, yes, a little bit. Oh, fuck, it's football. Am I the only one that feels like that, aye? Have I knocked you all into silence?
It was good to watch. You're right.
We scan through the media trying to see that Tierney goal to answer Ox's question to see where centre halves were.